come with me if you want to lift. Now.
I don't know, from my point of view, I think right now physical exercise is helping me a lot because I feel good in my body, and that again helps me to feel good in my mind. So keeping yourself busy at home with just staying healthy, I would say, is a big aspect. And I also feel like this is the time where you can really not do anything and enjoy the downtime. So if there's something you really wanted to do for a long time that you can do from home, now's the time to do it.
Maybe pick up an instrument.
If
you have a guitar at home, you always wanted to learn guitar.
No,
you never did it.
There's tons of people offering like free online classes right now for instruments and anything. Maybe you can learn another language, just I think out of the box right now. Try to make the best of the time that we have. Sit this out, and hope that it turns out well. Yeah.
When I was back in Berlin, I was consumed by the news of everything that was happening, and I was paying way too much attention to like all the kind of bad things that were going on, and it kind of dragged me down, and it was like I knew in my head, I was like telling myself like, yeah, I'm gonna be really creative and I'm gonna do all this stuff, and for that first like 4 or 5 days I felt like that was really not happening. Like all I really wanted to do was just like escape that situation, and it took me, I think, a little while before, and it took basically for us like coming here to kind of build that space where we could just be creative and sort of do exactly what we wanted and what we felt like we had to do in this moment, right? And I think that's maybe what others could do now, is to look for or try to find in this moment like that thing that helps them escape, that is not destructive to them.
As someone who probably spends a lot of time on the internet, it's me. For once, maybe use social media for something positive and not to like drag people down, make fun of them. Actually, reach out to people, and like because in those times, right now we're not allowed to go outside. We're not supposed to go outside. But if you have friends, are on the brink of depression or not feeling that well, maybe reach out to them or engage in conversation, because, like Bennett said, like, self-destruction isn't really the key right now. And if you know people that maybe are less privileged and fortunate than you, reach out, try to engage in normal conversations like you would every day with them if you see them. Because right now, most people are stuck inside, and I think it's pretty hard for a lot of people. We right now got each other, and I think it's also a good thing, because I remember a week ago I was home with my girlfriend, which was great, but we had so much trouble coming in, or getting her also out of the country because she had to go home. It's really dragging you down, and now we got Stefan, Bennett, Steffi, Ollie, everyone is here, so that's kind of uplifting for me. But like I said, not everyone has that. Just reach out and touch faith.
But I've always kind of believed that, like, the purpose of life in a lot of ways is to leave the world like a little bit more beautiful than you left it. Beauty, of course, being relative, but like understand what your beauty is and then try to create something or do something that adds to the positive side of the world rather than the negative. And so, like, focusing on whatever actions you take when you're in your house and you're stuck at home, and thinking a little bit more. I think self-reflection is a good thing, to think a little bit about, like, okay, how have I been spending my time, not only in this quarantine, but also before it? And is that really what I want to spend my time on?
Years with, like, all the technology, all the innovations that have come, like, everything's just, like, become, like, full speed, and you never really have time to catch your breath and really think about what you're actually doing and why you're doing it, and if that's something positive for yourself, positive for society in general, like if like for the environment, like like in general, like as well. Like we're doing so many things that are totally destructive to where our world, where we live. We've like taken over, and like maybe it makes time to really reset and rethink a lot of the things we've developed and changed the path we're on right now. Especially now, like you can really think about.
I think that the gift that we've really been given out of this whole mess is this weird opportunity to self-reflect. And that a lot of people, I think, won't take advantage of that, and especially at a very high, like, governmental level, for example. Like, our governments are not going to, like, and our leaders are not going to self-reflect in this moment, like, because there's just too much craziness going on. Like, for them, they're not quarantined. They're thinking about
They have so much pressure.
all the pressure and the damage, and all the angry voices are screaming. But I think for the average person, which was the point of this question, I think, is like for the average person like us that's just kind of sitting at home and is like, okay, you know, how have I been living my life these last years? And like, as you know, now that I've been given this weird 2 or 3 weeks to like sit, like, what is it that I really want to be doing? And for me, it's been like, I need to write more. You know what I mean? Like the last years, like we've been running around, we've been focused on social media, and we've been focused on all this, like these things that, you know, I'm not saying they're not important, but like the reality is like the thing that I fell in love with that made me quit my job and do all those things all those years ago was exactly this, was like writing music. And I like the fact, and I'm happy about the fact that when shit hit the fan and it was like, okay, you know, you've got to basically close yourself off for a while, like what's the thing that you want to do? And for me, it's not something destructive, it's quite the opposite. Like I've been like, okay, I really want to like create music. And I think that's the point, is like that's something, you know, that we all bleed red, right? So it's like, you know, at the end of the day, like whether you're rich or poor or powerful or not, like this kind of moment of, okay, you've been quarantined off, and it's like, how are you individually living your life? And do you feel that that's positive, not only for yourself, but for others? I think is an important reflection, you know? Like, have you been getting caught up in the hysteria of, you know, our media world? Have you been caught up in partisan politics? Have you been caught up in economic BS? And like, you know, like, what's really important at the end of the day? Like, you can have $1 billion or you can have 500, and if you have coronavirus, it can kill you. It doesn't care about your money. It doesn't care about where you're from. Like, you know, and that's kind of my question that I'm asking myself, is if I had a virus today that took me out and I knew that I was gonna like pass on in a week, would I be happy with what I've done to this point? And I think the answer to that is that I still have a lot more that I think I can accomplish, and I need to get on that right away.